Okay, we're going to practice again. We're going to practice again, but I'm going to switch this up. I'm going to come here and make this an open circle. I'm going to make that an open circle, and I'm going to make this a closed dot, just so we can have some variety. Okay, here we go. You ready? So if I said, what is the x-intercept within your groups, tutors, you are watching with me, and your group that's not discussing it, I don't care about right or wrong answers. I care about participation. 10 seconds. What is the x-intercept for this particular graph? Ready? Get set, go. 10 seconds. 10, 9. The x-intercept means where does the function cross the x-axis? I will not call on you, but raise your hand if you feel confident you know what the ordered pair is. I feel confident I know the ordered pair. Okay? Okay, hands up. Who says there's no x-intercept? Hands up. There's no x-intercept. The answer is this is tricking you, and the answer is there's no x-intercept. And why is that? The reason why there's no x-intercept is because although it appears that this piece of the function intersects the x-axis at this point, notice there's an open circle there. If this was closed, the x-intercept would be negative 2, 0. Because it's open, there is no x-intercept. Okay, let's do the next one. What is the y-intercept? This is the y-intercept, and when we write it down, we would write it down as 0, negative 2. That's 2 of your 10 questions on the quiz. Okay, 2 of the 10 questions. Let's now look at the domain. So I'm going to go from left to right. If you're here on the X bridge, we always go from left to right. If you look up, you eventually would see this piece of the function because it continues to go to the left and upwards in that diagonal direction. So I can see it way up here. The entire time I can see some piece of the function. Even when we drop from this piece of the function to down below to the constant, we still are seeing some piece of the function, and back up to the increasing. So the entire way. Now, why is this wrong? All eyes up here. If I describe the domain and I left it like this, why is that wrong? Ready? Go to your group. The reason is that inside is correct, but whenever you are working with either the negative or the positive infinity symbols, next to those symbols, you always have to use a parenthesis. And the reason why is a bracket describes including one value. This is not one value. It's an ongoing direction of values. Okay, we've got that part down. Let's move on now to where is it increasing, decreasing, and constant. I want you to shout out the answer. So I'm going to point to one region, and you're either going to say increase, decrease, or constant. Here we go. What about this one? Okay, good. I'm just going to put CON. Okay, left to right, we read it. What about this one? Okay, that's good. And this one? Okay, we're good there. Now remember, what do we always use to describe those? We only use parentheses. So if you're looking on a true or false quiz, the very first thing I personally would do is I would look through the questions. I'd find the ones that talk about increasing, decreasing, and constant. And if they're not using parentheses, automatically it is a false statement. Did everybody hear that? Turn to your group, repeat what I said in maybe a shorter terms. Ready? Go. When you get to this multiple choice test, what are you going to do? We are only going to describe decreasing, increasing, and constant intervals with parentheses. So let's get started here. Let's do this decreasing one. So from left to right it's going down, and I'm going to describe it in terms of x values. So the decreasing comes from the far left. Far left is described with the negative infinity, and it continues to decrease all the way up to an x value of negative 2. So in this region, it is all decreasing. Constant or flat on the graph goes from negative 2 all the way to positive 2. Increasing starts at an x value of 2, and as it moves to the right, it is increasing. Turn to your partners, make sure you understand. Go ahead, please. Okay, the last two that we will do before we do function notation is where is it positive and where is it negative. So I'm going to color up here. This is the positive. I'm going to color down here. This is where the y's are negative. And let me just cross this out so there's no confusion. This is where f of x is positive. This is where f of x or y's are negative. All right. But how do we actually write that? Well, let's start with this very first piece. Yes, it's in the positive y, positive y, positive y. Is it positive y right here? At this point, is the y positive? Nope, it's not positive, it's not negative, it's neutral because y equals 0 at this point. So how would I describe that? I would say from negative infinity all the way to an x value of negative 2, it is positive. But I have to put a parenthesis there because at negative 2, it is not positive. This one is a little bit different. Here it starts at positive 2 for an x value, and as it moves to the right, it will continuously be in the positive y region. But at 2, it's a closed dot, and it's in the positive region, so I have to include that singular point. Down below, this is in the negative region. It starts at an x value of negative 2, and it's included because the y value is, because this point is closed, it's in the region where y is negative, and all the way to an x value of positive 2. Now at positive 2, we have an open circle. That means at this exact point, the y value is not included, so it's not in the negative region. I'm going to put I'm going to put a parenthesis. All right, this part I think is the easiest area for us to refine or improve on before we take the quiz. All right, let's look for those corresponding y values. This is function notation. F of 2, that means go to where x is 2, and I'm going to go up or down directly until I find a closed dot. It's right here. This closed dot has a y value of 3. F of 5, well, here's 5. I only have to go up. It has a y value of 6. F of 0, I go to 0. I have to go down. We have a y value of negative 2. F of negative 2 is here. I have to go to the closed dot. If there's 2, the closed dot would be at a y value of negative 2.